Sam here from Sheridan Computers. Going to be taking a quick look at TrueNAS Core, and it is a quick look because it's still in alpha state. It's definitely not production ready. This is me downloading it so I can take a look at it and follow the progress of it. Once it really goes from alpha to beta and beta to an official release, I'll provide updates on it. So I'm going to quickly go through how to do the install of it, see if there's any differences, and once we've got it installed, we'll have a quick look at the web user interface as well. If you like this video, please do hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help, and it takes quite a bit of time to produce this content. If you hit the notifications icon, you will receive notifications of any new videos as they are released, including my updates on TrueNAS and its progression. With that said, let's jump across real quick and we'll just dive in and start taking a look at it. So at this point we want to just boot off the installer, so I'll go ahead and hit enter. You do have the option to boot with serial console. Now I'm not sure if this is the same installation as FreeNAS. It should be exactly the same, it's essentially the same product, but it's the first time that I've installed TrueNAS Core. So I'm going to go ahead and choose install and upgrade. At this point you need to select the hard drives that you want to install on. I've only got one hard drive for the installer as I'm using a test, so I've got two 80 gigs that we're going to use to create a pool on later. So go ahead, select the hard drive, okay. This will erase all partitions, so it's going to wipe obviously anything on the drive, so yes, go ahead and proceed. You need to enter a password that you want to use. So that's the root password that you're going to need to log into TrueNAS with. And I'll boot via BIOS for this, it's quite an old machine that it's on. Yes, we'll create a swap partition. One thing to note, it does require a minimum of 8 gigabytes of RAM to do this install. I did try to do it previously and it popped up with a prompt just saying you've not got enough memory, would you like to continue? Because I only had 4 gig in it. So I just stuck another 8 in it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and install a base operating system. Wow, that's pretty much it for the installation. So there really isn't much to do there. It's a really quick installation. It's a while since I've installed FreeNAS as well. I can't actually remember if it goes that quick on FreeNAS. So let's go ahead and reboot the system now. Right, so as you can see, we're now at the console. So you have the option if you need to configure network interfaces or anything from here. I've got DHCP handed out on our network, so it's give us the IP address that we can log into of 10.1.10.111. I'm going to head over and do that now. So let me just pull the browser up here real quick. Okay, now, so the IP address that we had was 10.1.10.111. So you need the password. Username is root, and the password is whatever password that you set during the installation. So we're just going to go and have a quick look at the differences. I'll leave a link to this blog in the description below so you can check this out for yourself. This was released on April the 15th, 2020, and it's just announcing the merger of FreeNAS and TrueNAS. So FreeNAS is becoming TrueNAS Core and TrueNAS is becoming TrueNAS Enterprise. And this is just to address some of the feedback and concerns people have had. So will TrueNAS Core still be open source and free? The answer is yes, 100%. Will TrueNAS Core have fewer features than FreeNAS? No. So they're saying that 100% there'll be no less features. In fact, TrueNAS Core will have more features than FreeNAS does today. Will any free features now be made available only in TrueNAS Enterprise? Nope. Nope. We have no intention of removing features from TrueNAS Core. Hopefully we've eased your minds. So it's basically FreeNAS as it was with more features. And they're basically explaining the reasons behind the renaming conventions and things. So rapid development, improved quality, having one product as opposed to having two separate products obviously makes more sense for development and documentation. So let's have a look at the features. And the same way they've got the TrueNAS Core from here. So community supported, open source, rapid development, early availability. Now on here they list a there's a grid between that references the features included in each version. As I say, I'll leave the link to this below so you can look at it yourself. So many of these features, enclosure views in TrueCommand, vCenter plugins, proactive support, certification, HA, the high availability in TrueNAS is very dependent on hardware, so that couldn't be included in the free version really, even if they wanted to. Fiber channel support, dual controller, high availability, visual enclosure management, 24/7 support, as you'd expect if you had a support agreement with them. So let's have a brief look at the options. They have outlined them here below. So metadata on flash. So special SSD VDEVs can be used for metadata acceleration. This can include both file system metadata and dedupe tables. So that's one of the core features that was introduced in OpenZFS 2.0. TrueNAS Core introduces what they've called fusion pools. So special SSD VDEVs can also be used for database on input-output write size. This is configurable on a per dataset basis, and users can accelerate database datasets or special VMs. SSD wear monitoring, so they've introduced monitoring for SSDs and the health of them. Dataset encryption. So this is a bit different, and I'm looking forward to having a play with this. They've introduced separate dataset encryption, so if you've got like multiple datasets, you can encrypt them separately with separate keys. So that's something to look forward to. They've introduced asynchronous ZFS trim. Now this is part of OpenZFS 2.0, and it basically the trim commands free up space, as it says here, particularly with SSDs. Faster ZFS boot, which is again down to OpenZFS 2.0, and with the introduction of OpenZFS 2.0, there's greater Linux compatibility. So it's marrying up Linux and FreeBSD a lot with ZFS, so really excited to see what's involved there. Accelerated ZFS, again because of OpenZFS 2.0. So several performance improvements have been made to reduce both drive IOPS and CPU cycles required. More features and higher performance. So together, a big win for ZFS users. Now this is an interesting option. OpenVPN client and server. So it looks like they've included the OpenVPN server into FreeNAS and the client, so you can set the server up on one and the client up on the other. Connect the two that way and perform all operations over a VPN securely. So I'm interested in having a look at that. This is one of the reasons that I wanted to install it, so I can have a play with how all these features do work. Two-factor authentication. So they've increased 2FA for the GUI, and I know that they also support 2FA for SSH as well. So these are welcome features. They've done some stuff with API keys, so accessing the REST interface can now be done by API key. So you can basically create an API key for each person, for each application that you're doing, separate API keys, and they can be revoked separately as well. Key management interoperability protocols. So they're introducing a central management for your keys, but this is, as I've just actually read, this is only to be available in TrueNAS Enterprise, so that's not available in the TrueNAS Core version. TrueCommand Dataset Management. TrueCommand is joined at the hip with TrueNAS and will provide some exciting features, including snapshotting, replicating, and migrating between datasets and systems. So it's saying there should be something for everybody in this list. There's a lot of new features that seem to be in here, so yeah, really keen to have a look at some of these. I will leave this link below so you can read through it yourself. So back over to TrueNAS. Let's have a look at accounts. So groups and users, pretty much as it was. Display note, a built-in groups are hidden by default. Use the gear icon top right to display built-in groups. And users, imagine it's the same. Yeah. So by default, they're now hiding the built-in FreeBSD users, which is good because they do get in the way, especially if you're not using them. So that's a good feature there. System general, let's have a look here. So this is again pretty much the same as it in FreeNAS. Set your SSL certificate, web interface address, IPv6 address, which ports that you want to listen to, HTTPS protocols, so we've got 1 up to 1.3, and you can also enforce HTTP to HTTPS. This is the same as it is during the FreeNAS setup. English, so yeah, choose your language, choose your time zone. I'm going to go ahead and select that while I'm here. Set the time format, crash reporting, usage collection. Enable sending anonymous usage statistics to IX systems. So if you don't want to send this information, obviously untick these boxes. Crash reporting, again, we'll send the crash reports to IX systems. So if you don't want these, you can disable it. It does help them with the project if you leave them on. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and apply that. Console key map, you can set your console key map here, which is usually a good thing to do. So I'm going to set mine to United Kingdom. NTP servers, you don't need to change these. I usually change them to the closest ones to me. You can do that by add, and you can basically add the closest name servers to you if you want to do that. And if you want to remove the default ones, we can do that by delete. So you can delete them that way. Let's have a look at boot. So these are your boot environments. Again, that's pretty much the same as it is in FreeNAS. Have a look at the advanced settings. Can we see anything in here? Swap sizes set here. You can enable the serial console. Show console messages in the GUI. Like this is part of FreeNAS as well, so I do like having that. You can enable auto tune and the debug kernel if you wish. So enabling the console, we can now see the console messages here. That's really handy to have, and I usually do leave that enabled. Email, if you want to send alerts out notifying you of the status, then it's good to set this information up. Again, that's an existing feature. System datasets is where you can configure where the system datasets are stored, which pool are on. So that's all the metadata. Reporting, yeah, this is pretty much the same as existing features. So I'm just going to quickly run through these. Alert services, that's pretty much the same. Alert settings. So these are, I'm not going to go over these. If you've used FreeNAS before, then you're of course familiar with these. Cloud credentials is the same. SSH connections, pretty much the same. You can add SSH connections into another TrueNAS system and link them that way. I will do separate videos on this. This is just a introduction video to it and basic setup, I guess. Update. Check if there's any updates available, and it shows you the current train. So I'm using the 12 nightlies. Now it does state here, this is not a production release and should only be used for testing. This is an alpha release. It's not even beta stage yet, so you definitely shouldn't be using this in production. You've got your certificate management. Kmip is a new option. Now this is, it does say here, Kmip status disabled. This is the one that I mentioned. It was part of the enterprise features that you get. So you can manage passwords, ZFS keys, Kmip DNS is same as it was. So in the support options, we have the option to enter the license for the TrueNAS Enterprise here. If we have a TrueNAS license, this is where you stick the details in. So it's exactly the same download. You don't need to wipe your system and install a new version or anything. It's this one. You just enter your license details and that will unlock the hidden features for you. Obviously your support details are here, it's the same as. Two-factor authentication. I'm glad to see this introduced. So you've got one-time password, the settings for them, and this option to enable two-factor auth for SSH. Glad they've included that. So that looks pretty easy to do. Two-factor is not enabled, obviously by default. Tasks, I think all this stuff's pretty much the same. Cron job, shutdown, async tasks. Yeah, that's the same as it is. And the networking options, pretty sure this is still the same. Storage, so create new pool, give it a name, tank. Choose whether you want to encrypt the pool or not. Encrypting something's always a good thing. I'm not going to bother in this. So you can select the drives that you want to do, or you can do suggest layout. I only have 2 drives in this. I'll do suggest layout. So we've got both drives. Just move down here. It's suggested a mirror, and we're going to get the raw capacity of 72.5 gigs. So I'll go ahead and create that. The contents of the existing disk will be erased. That's fine. And that was created really quickly. So the pool's created across the 2 80 gig drives, so we can go ahead and create a dataset on there. My dataset. Test data. You can set the options up here. So this bit is pretty much the same as it was. Encryption options. So it inherits the default settings. So the default settings are non-encrypted. So yes, encrypt or inherit. We don't want to inherit. I want to enable encryption on this. Choose a passphrase. So stick a passphrase in. Set the other options. Share type, that's pretty much as it was. So let's go ahead and create that. So now we've got my dataset. And you can see it's unlocked. We'll go ahead and create another one. Yeah, select pool, add dataset, dataset 2, another test dataset, Sync inherited, I'm going to leave that as it is. Encryption options, again, I don't want to inherit them, I want to encrypt it. Use passphrase, so stick passphrase in again. You also have the option to use keys there. Go ahead and create that. So now we have, it's shown unlocked obviously because the passphrase is in there. Now we have two datasets and they are encrypted separately with separate passphrases. So I'm really keen to get a play with this once it's all released. Directory services, this is pretty much the same as it was. Sharing again, if you're familiar with FreeNAS, you'll be familiar with that. Here we can see we have two new options, OpenVPN Server and OpenVPN Client. So let's have a look at this. So here we can set up a server within TrueNAS. So this is really handy if you don't have a VPN configured at your firewall. You can do it individually here, and we can set the client up to connect as well. Again, same options. We can set the VPN here. What's this option here? So TLS crypto off enabled. I'm looking to have a play with these, and I will set two systems up and try this out to see how it works. Plugins is probably the same. Choose pool for plugin storage, that's the same. Then we've got our jails, and then reporting, virtual machines, display system processes. The guides in there, docs.truenas.com, didn't seem to work for some reason. So the install is very easy to do. It's pretty much the same as the FreeNAS installation. The interface and the options are pretty much identical. There's just a few more options. So as I say, this is still under alpha release, so you shouldn't be using it for production under any circumstances. When the beta comes out, I believe that the feature set is complete. So there's going to be no new features added from the current alpha, as far as I'm aware anyway. I might be wrong. You can correct me on that if I am. So I think it's just bug fixes, testing and stuff that they want to do. And when it comes out of beta and goes into release, I'm very keen to take a look at it. And of course, this is using FreeBSD 12 as opposed to FreeBSD 11. So it does come with the benefits of FreeBSD 12 over 11 as well. You can look at them for yourselves. Let me switch this back. So the purpose of this video was basically me downloading TrueNAS and getting it installed. I wanted to have a play with the new features that it comes with, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on its development, and when the beta releases come up, I'll do videos and notifications on as it moves from alpha to beta, and once it gets into release, I'm really keen to get it up and running on some live systems and take a play with it. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. If you hit the notifications icon, you will receive the notifications of any new videos as they are released. That's about it for here, so we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.